Hey guys, welcome back to round 4. We've got Arnie versus Remy, who we actually haven't seen for like the past 2 years or so this will be fun to see exactly what he's cooked up to bring to this PC. But on your left side, you've got Arnie with Gyarados, Scrafty, Togekiss, Mudsdale, Rotom, Heat, and Duraludon. And on the right, you've actually got Remy with that Whimsicott Charizard. Who knows if it's Gigantamax or not. Duraludon, Togekiss, Jellicent, and Conkeldurr. So some similarities here and a couple of differences. We've got the Togekiss, Duraludon. You've got some support Pokemon here in terms of both Scrafty and Whimsicott. And then you have Gyarados and Mudsdale and Jellicent and Conkeldurr. So kind of a weird balance of like Pokemon that are like heavy on attack, but can also deal out insane types of water type damage. So looking at that Jellicent, you're either going to support it with Tailwind, or you can't support it at all because that is a slow as heck Pokemon. And I don't really see anything that can set up Trick Room unless you're running some weird set on Whimsicott where you decide to run Trick Room and just fake everybody out, which wouldn't surprise me. This format has seen a lot of people going into some weird niche things and bringing out Pokemon that either you don't see or moves that you don't see very often. So I appreciate these. I appreciate this trainer card. Thank you guys. That's real fun. But seeing exactly like the strategy that they're going to bring here will be kind of exciting, as Whimsicott Duraludon is going to be the lead of choice here for Remy, and Arnie is going to go with that Gyarados and Scrafty. So two Intimidates actually at the same time here. Scrafty and Gyarados both going to intimidate Duraludon and Whimsicott. So again, not going to matter at all in Whimsicott. Whimsicott is just going to smile in the face of those Intimidates and be like, nope, not going to work. Duraludon is kind of an iffy thing. We do usually see it run special attack, so not going to be as important here. But what is going to be important is you've got the fake out potential here for Arnie. You've got Gyarados, who is fast and can go for flinches with something like Waterfall. Whimsicott, of course, not something to sneeze at because it does have, like we've seen in the previous round, it has access to Fake Tears, has Charm, could have Tailwind, has a myriad of moves able to set up and support Duraludon. So at this point, seeing Whimsicott and Duraludon could almost just kind of be a given, almost as much as Duraludon and Togekiss, or Togekiss and Excadrill. And Whimsicott's one of those Pokemon that once it's fine, it's footing, it's there. But in this case, it's going to actually switch out for that Jellicent instead. So Jellicent coming in from the remnants of, I think, like, 2015 or so, when it was, like, probably last relevant, as we are actually going to get a Dynamax here from that Duraludon on Remy's side. So again, a Pokemon that is very commonly Dynamax just because of the fact that it just does so much damage with those max moves and is able to have an astounding amount of like stat boost or decreases for your opponent's side. But Arnie is going to respond in kind with his own Dynamax, is most likely going to be that Gyarados, because Scrafty has kind of been relegated to a sort of support position since kind of losing some specific like attacks there. But yeah, it is going to be that Gyarados. So Gyarados and Duraludon, two Titans on the field, are going to face down each other as Dynamax Pokemon, as Jellicent and Scrafty try to support them. But Scrafty going for the fake out won't affect Jellicent because of that ghost typing here, as Max Lightning from that Duraludon is going to go into that Gyarados, and that is a berry there to mitigate that damage, because that Gyarados is not going to like that at all. It is going to be able to hold on in part thanks to that berry from earlier. So it is going to be that Walken Berry. It has been a long time since I've seen that berry activate here, but Max Airstream is going to proc here for that Gyarados, and Jellicent is going to take a lot of damage, so any water spouts for later on will not be able to do any damage. Does manage to also bring up the speed for both these Pokemon, so that Walken Berry is able to at least make sure that Gyarados can help support Arnie's team for later on. Both Scrafty and Gyarados up +1, so against Jellicent and Duraludon, that's going to be very important, especially because Jellicent isn't going to be able to hold on much longer, having taken an insane amount of damage from that Max Airstream. Duraludon, a little bit bulkier in terms of just its like defense, special defense, and HP, so could take a little bit more hits here, but Jellicent going to go down from that second Max Airstream here is going to give Arnie's Pokemon another +2 to their speed, putting them both at +2. So Remy going to be a little bit left behind in the dust here as Arnie speeds away thanks to those Airstreams. But Drain Punch from that Scrafty going to do super effective damage into that Duraludon. Does pretty considerable damage here. No need for that HP recovery thanks to the fact that it hadn't gotten hit yet. But Gyarados is going to go down on this turn thanks to that Max Form win from Remy's. Duraludon is going to lower the attack on Scrafty, which is a little bit more important here. And that Scrafty, even though it has that Drain Punch, is going to be a little bit less impactful thanks to the fact that it did get that max Warman hit into it. So both Remy and Arnie gonna be down one Pokemon. Gonna have to bring in something from the back. We only know that Whimsicott so far here on Remy's side, and Arnie's is a mystery until now. So Mudsdale going to be the Pokemon of choice here for Arnie, as Whimsicott is going to come back onto the field next to Duraludon. Is in a little bit of a better position now. Didn't have to worry about that fake out anymore. Can go for its own Tailwind setup now that Gyarados is gone and isn't really able to isn't able to set up with like the max Airstream. Scrafty is at +2 still though, is still on the field from those previous two max moves, and Remy still has, I think, one more turn now of max moves. This will be the last turn as we see a tried and true combination, that fake Tears from Whimsicott going into that Mudsdale, going to lower that special defense, which is going to be very important here. Scrafty goes for Ice Punch, will move after that Whimsicott thanks to that Prankster, and Whimsicott is like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine, but I did what I had to do, got that special defense down, and Mudsdale is cleanly knocked out from that max form win from that Duraludon, leaving this Scrafty and one more partner left to deal with a kind of terrifying sort of combination. And Whimsicott is at least able to take maybe one more Ice type attack here, but it's going to be a Rotom Heat here on the field instead. And, actually not a bad Pokemon to have against a Steel type Pokemon and a Whimsicott, which is obviously part grass here. And Scrafty hasn't taken any damage, but at this point, Remy's just kind of looking at it as like, hey, it's not really like the worst thing to be against, because Scrafty is very supportive. Did show that Drain Punch, did show an Ice type move, and did show Fake Out. So one more move left mystery for us here. But we're going to see exactly, we might not even see it, but Whimsicott does set up the Tailwind here for Remy. Is going to be able to give itself a speed boost as Duraludon goes for the Draco Meter, is at full power as of right now. Is going to connect into that Rotom and easily picks up that knockout. Is going to get a -2 to its special attack here after that connection, and that leaves just the Scrafty against, well, at this point, that Whimsicott Duraludon and still one more Pokemon. So I'm so I actually don't know what Arnie can do in this match, except maybe think about game 2 and what's happening. So Whimsicott with the Moonblast can do super effective damage, like 4 times super effective damage. Is gonna just pick up that knockout just so simply here, giving game 1 to Remy and giving Arnie some time to think about what he has to do. Okay, cool. And now it's a matter of how are you going to decide what you're going to do for game 2? Because that was kind of Remy just saying like, oh, okay, well, I know how to deal with this. I'm going to ignore that Scrafty until I knock out all of its partners. And now it's just like, you're not going to be able to do much, I think, if you're Remy. And I have a sleeping Flareon on my lap, guys. Like, this is now officially my comfort pillow, so thank you, Gail, wherever you may be playing right now. But if you're kind of looking at this match now as Arnie, I think what you have to decide is Scrafty was good to have in the beginning, but it didn't really offer you much except a chance for me to decide, hey, I don't really care about the Scrafty, so I'm going to go after all the other Pokemon that are like next to it. And then from there, it was just like, Scrafty played the game of, I'm going to watch all of my friends faint before I finally join them. And Remy kind of just was able to deal a lot of damage with that Duraludon and that Whimsicott. So I think now if you're Arnie, you're looking at that Whimsicott as a little bit more of a threat. Again, Whimsicott is very much like one of those Pokemon who, if you leave it alone, is going to set up its partner very well. But if you do go after it, then its partner is going to be able to just kind of deal a lot of damage. So Whimsicott is one of those up and down Pokemon that you have to have at least enough damage for both of your own Pokemon to deal with Whimsicott and its partner. And I think right now Arnie's choice from that first game wasn't really able to do that as well. And I think you have to kind of leave Scrafty behind on this turn on this game, because Scrafty wasn't really able to offer you as much support as much. I'm watching Jeremy try to take pictures with Pikachu, and it's been very entertaining, so it's a little bit distracting, but it's fun. And I mean, at this point, they're actually kind of taking their time in deciding what they want to bring, and it is kind of tough, right? Like, Jellison sure wasn't able to do much, but it let Whimsicott come back in for absolutely free and was able to just I don't know, float on Tailwind and just take out all of Arnie's Pokemon. So it's a little bit rough on Arnie's side, but there are ways around it, I think, and definitely leaving behind Scrafty is one of them, as you actually get that same lead with Whimsicott and Duraludon from before, but now we've got Togekiss and Duraludon, so both these steel dragon types being supported by fairy type Pokemon here who have access to some really fun moves. You've got Yawn, you've got Follow Me, you've got Air Slash, you've got I think for Togekiss, and then on Whimsicott you've got Tailwind. We saw Tailwind, we saw Moonblast, and we saw Fake Tears. So this Whimsicott is just as much of a powerhouse as Togekiss could be. Like, Togekiss has a little bit more oomph behind its moves, but that doesn't mean that Whimsicott is just something that can be ignored as a big ball of fluff. I mean, it is a big ball of fluff, but like it can be a scary big ball of fluff, if absolutely like necessary. So it's gonna be a battle of the Steel Towers, and is this like this is gonna be a tale of two towers now, and the fairy type Pokemon that help support it. I still need to watch Return of the King. Please don't look at me like that. I've been so busy, okay? Shoot, no. I totally missed that. But Duraludon is actually going to go for the Dynamax. Actually, Duraludon on Remy's side is going for that Dynamax. Could be either or, actually, for Arnie, because both of those Pokemon are pretty good for Dynamaxing options, especially if, again, Togekiss has something like Weakness Policy. But I am, from the look of that from the look of that Pokeball, it actually might be Duraludon. No, it's not Togekiss. Man, I should have gone with my gut instinct. So it's going to be Togekiss instead. So a little bit of an interesting choice here, Togekiss. If we might see a couple more max airstreams here, and we are actually going to get a Whimsicott go for the Tailwind on this turn. Is going to be able to get that boost in speed without having to worry about max airstream and just staying with one Pokemon, as Max Moment is going to easily pick up that knockout on Duraludon on Arnie's side of the field. That critical hit really helped as well, but Togekiss gets its attack stat drop, which not going to matter really for Togekiss. Not really a heavy attacker here. Max Starfall, though, going to go into that Duraludon as well. Oh my gosh, that managed to knock it out. I'm guessing that's oh, yep, there we go. Critical hits on both Max moves on this turn, which honestly, that kind of, I think, saved Arnie on this turn, because Remy losing that Dynamax on this turn thanks to that crit. Oh, that is intense. That is a very good thing here for Arnie, because now that combination of Fake Tears and an attacking move won't be as bad. However, it did set up Tailwind, so if you bring something like Jellison and you go for, I don't know, Fake Tears and then maybe Water Spout, could do a lot of damage. But instead, it's going to be a Togekiss of its own, so it's going to be Egg Pokemon versus Egg Pokemon here, as Mudsdale is going to be the Pokemon of choice to take place of that fallen Duraludon. And it's going to be interesting now that Remy is a little bit he's going to be a little bit behind thanks to losing that Dynamax Pokemon, but Togekiss and Whimsicott aren't exactly Pokemon that actually can support each other very well in this instance. You've got, again, that Fake Tears, and then you can just go for something like Dazzling Gleam. You could go for, I guess, Thunderbolt or Flamethrower with Togekiss. And then Mudsdale is a scary Pokemon, but gonna have to deal out some pretty heavy damage to be able to we're going to have to focus on that Togekiss, but Charm instead going to go into that Mudsdale, going to lower that attack stat by 2 to make sure that Togekiss isn't really, make sure that Mudsdale isn't going to really be doing as much damage here, as Togekiss on Remy's side uses Yawn on Arnie's Togekiss, so it's going to fall asleep on that next turn. And yes, we have that max airstream to give the +1 to Arnie's Pokemon, but Whimsicott is able to hold on with that Focus Sash. As Mudsdale goes for the Heavy Slam, is actually going to go into Remy's Togekiss, going to activate the Barbiero Berry, so no Weakness Policy, at least on Remy's side, and that Togekiss is going to be able to hold on. Man, that did absolutely nothing thanks to, in fact, both the Barbiero Berry and the fact that Togekiss was, because that charm made sure that was a -2 from that Mudsdale. So myriad of factors able to keep Togekiss around for a couple more turns at least. That Mudsdale, as long as it gets charmed, it's going to be in a little bit of trouble. But Fake Tears to go into that Togekiss. And oh man, that is going to be Dazzling Gleam here from Remy's Togekiss. Going to do some okay damage here into Arnie's Togekiss, but Mudsdale with that stamina going to be able to go for going to get that boost in defense. So not actually inner focus, which is what we usually see, but Togekiss able to hold on with 45 HP. From that max airstream, as Togekiss and Mudsdale on Arnie's side are going to get another speed boost. And Mudsdale going for Rock Slide does connect with both Pokemon. Pretty important here, is able to pick up the knockout on Whimsicott, but not on Togekiss. Again, that charm really helping here. And Togekiss going to sleep. That is such a cute animation. That Togekiss fell asleep and it rocked back in like, that is really cute. Pokemon, I appreciate the details in this game right now. In this case, it was actually kind of adorable. That was really cute. But Conkeldurr is going to be the last Pokemon here on Remy's side. So as long as that Togekiss stays asleep, Remy definitely has a chance here that Mudsdale is going to be in a little bit of trouble, I think, against both the Togekiss and the Conkeldurr. But Togekiss is going to need a little bit of help. It is at 13 HP, and there's still 2 more Pokemon here on Arnie's side. So that critical hit from that first game really helping him a lot here. Togekiss taking its necessary turn of sleep right now, will stay asleep here, as Togekiss on Remy's side goes for the Dazzling Gleam, is able to chip down some more damage onto the Togekiss on Arnie's side. But a +2 now to Mudsdale from that defense. Conkeldurr going for the Drain Punch is going to help with that stamina one more time. Is able to, I guess, do some damage into that Mudsdale, but it's at +3 defense now. And Mudsdale going for that Heavy Slam is going to do a lot, still not a lot of damage, but enough to knock out the Togekiss, leaving Remy with his Conkeldurr alone. And that's not actually a lot for him right now. There's not a lot that this Conkeldurr can do, especially that Tailwind had just now run out. And Togekiss might be asleep, but it could wake up on this turn. And Remy's on a clock in terms of sleep turns. And at this point, that Mudsdale is just going to be, there you go. So there's that turn 1 wake up. So Conkeldurr is able to hold on just a little bit, but Mudsdale going for the highest horsepower is going to be slowly chipping it away. Conkeldurr going for a Rock Slide, so does go last, is able to pick up the knockout here on Togekiss, but not that much on Mudsdale. Is going to give it a +5, 4 or 5 now into that Togekiss, which is a little bit insane. And that actually is just going to give game 2 to Arnie. So we are going to be pushed to a game 3 in this case for Arnie versus Remy. Again, that is a little bit rough, I think, for Remy, because at that point you kind of, that critical hit, even though both of you exchanged critical hits, it hurt Remy in the end a little bit more, because losing your Dynamax Pokemon in that first turn is absolutely devastating, especially when you're trying especially when you're set up your Pokemon in such a way where you should be able to get around that. But game 3 is going to be where it's all decided here, and it is gonna be interesting. So we'll see exactly how this goes. But I would be stressed out if I was both of them, because that's one of those games where that second match was a really, I think you set yourself up in the best way that you could, and then it just all goes to pieces in the first 2 turns. It's one of those plans rarely survive the first attack, or their first engagement in terms of battle. So the real mark of how you handle that is how you come back in that third game. And if you are able to just shake that off mentally for at least a little bit and then come back in game 3, then that makes all the difference, right? So we did see a bit of a change here from Remy. He did bring the Conkeldurr. He brought the Conkeldurr, Togekiss, Duraludon, and Whimsicott. So left behind Jellicent this time. That Mudsdale, though, is going to be a little bit of a problem, given that it has stamina as opposed to inner focus. So that is a plus to its defense stat every single time it gets hit. And that is annoying when it comes to Mudsdale, because the only true way that Remy has to deal with it right now is that Conkeldurr's Drain Punch and a water type move from Jellicent. That's it. And if you don't find some way to stop it, it is going to stay on that field for a long time, as long as it's just that Conkeldurr that it's fighting against. So, I think we are going to see a Whimsicott return, because it's just, at this point, it's just kind of impossible to not want to bring Whimsicott, because it is such a good Pokemon to use in general, not just in those first 2 matches, but just overall, like having that ability to set up your Tailwind, to set up, to knock down those stats in terms of defense or special defense, and attack. It makes it a scary Pokemon. So we are going to see now that last match, we're going to see who wins it. And going into game 3, guys, of round 4. We got 2 more rounds after this. We're almost there, kind of. And it's only 4:30. That's great. So Duraludon and Whimsicott. So Remy's just saying, hey, you know what? Game 2 was a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do about it? We're going to try this one more time. But actually, Arnie bringing back in that Scrafty one more time. So Scrafty and Togekiss, normally this would be a weird combination, but Togekiss has switched over from supportive to both supportive and offensive here. Scrafty going for the Intimidate is going to try to mitigate a little bit of the damage that's happening here. But that fake out is going to be nice in terms of, in this case, because there's nothing on Remy's side of the field that will be able to stop by it, unless he brings in that Jellicent on this turn. But now you have that Togekiss who can go for that Dynamax and can go for max Airstreams again, give you that plus into your speed. So there's a little bit of options here. Arnie has given himself a little bit more wiggle room. The fake out's going to really help here. Whimsicott, though, is going to be at least able to go for, is also going to try its best to help out its Duraludon friend. And if you're Arnie, you have to decide, do you stop Whimsicott this turn from setting up, or do you stop Duraludon from doing any sort of damage? And honestly, Duraludon was probably the answer here, as Whimsicott actually leaves this turn and is going to be replaced by Togekiss. So we are going to have a Togekiss staring down each other on the same side of the field here, as Arnie goes for that Dynamax one more time. It is going to be that Togekiss again, like it was in game 2. So Togekiss, which we saw, was able to critical hit that Max Starfall onto Remy's Duraludon. We might see the same thing again this turn, and who knows at this point. But Togekiss able to stare down, the Dynamax Togekiss able to stare down all of Remy's Pokemon. But Duraludon, not going to risk it, goes for the Protect on this turn, not going to want to take any sort of damage here. As Scrafty goes for the fake out, actually goes into the Togekiss, which was that Whimsicott. So that was the threat that Arnie had decided here. As Togekiss is double down into, able to hold on with 12 HP, does get a boost into, wow, that is another critical hit here in that max move. But more importantly, those plus to the speed for both Scrafty and Togekiss on Arnie's side is going to really help him out, because there was no setup for Tailwind on Remy's side with that Whimsicott. Duraludon did protect itself. The hard part here is it did burn that Protect on this turn. And it's either going to have to start dealing out damage or hope for a second Protect, so in case it finally gets targeted down here, because that Scrafty and Togekiss are now going to be faster than it. And this Togekiss came in and got hit for 180 damage for its trouble. So it's going to be a little bit of a tough battle here for Remy to see what exactly he's going to do. That Togekiss, unfortunately, not going to be as useful, I think, as he would have liked for it to be in this case. As Scrafty actually is going to be switched out on Arnie's side, is going to be replaced by that Rotom Heat, which we only saw for a little bit, did get knocked out by Max Wormwind in game 2, thanks to that thanks to that fake Tears and Max Wormwind combination. But now Remy is going, hey, you know what? It's time to bring out the big Pokemon, and we are going to go for that Dynamax here. It is going to be that Duraludon for the last time on this round, at least. Probably not this stream. I'm expecting more Duraludon at some point today. But Duraludon not having taken any damage yet. Actually, Max Guard from Togekiss is going to protect it on this turn. Togekiss going for a Follow Me, so going to draw the attention of that Rotom Heat only as of right now, as Duraludon goes for the Max Steel Spike. Ooh, goes into that Max Guard though, so takes one turn to hit nothing, as Togekiss is able to protect itself on this turn, and it's going to have one more team left. So Togekiss tried its best to go for that Follow Me, but not quite working on this turn, as Togekiss on Arnie's side is able to protect. But Rotom coming in here fresh and ready to battle is going to be able to do some sort of a little bit of damage. Does not have the bonus from Max Airstream, unlike that Togekiss, which is at +1 as of right now. So Remy's going to have to really think about what he's gonna do once that Togekiss is finally done with its Dynamax turns, and what his own Togekiss is gonna do, because another Follow Me will get knocked out immediately, leaving his Duraludon free to get attacked by the second Pokemon on Arnie's field. But Togekiss once again going for that Follow Me. Its last move most likely this turn, as Rotom goes for the Thunderbolt. Sunuli was going to go into that Togekiss and does pick up the knockout very easily with that 12 HP remaining, leaving this Togekiss on Arnie's side to go for Max Starfall, which we saw knock out Duraludon with a critical hit from earlier. That is not a critical hit, and is able to hold on with 82 HP, so able to at least get one move done. And maybe stop the Togekiss from kind of actually just for Max Warming instead. It's going to go into that Rotom. It's going to pick up the knockout very easily there. Knocks down the attack stat of Togekiss, but I mean, I guess that Togekiss isn't as big of a threat as that Rotom was going to be, as Duraludon loses a little bit of HP thanks to that Life Orb. So now, I don't know what Remy's going to bring in for Whimsicott. It might be an okay. I mean, Remy might be okay if he brings in that Whimsicott to use Tailwind, but it's going to be a little bit tough because he's got one other Pokemon left besides that Whimsicott to choose from. And if it's not an attacker that can take down that Togekiss, but Scrafty comes back onto the field for Arnie. Is going to go for another Intimidate. Gets another Intimidate into, going to be that Whimsicott. So, same thing as first turn, not going to matter much here, but does have access to that Fake Out. And that Whimsicott, which we saw before, which we saw in turn 1, was the target of the Fake Out for Arnie, is going to have his Togekiss end its Dynamax turn. So, did get a lot more mileage, I think, out of this Togekiss. Did not take any damage at all, chose to max guard at the appropriate time, was able to at least save that full HP for these next coming turns. So, Remy, I think, has his back against the wall a little bit right now, and Arnie is actually kind of like is able to sort of switch around his Pokemon the best way he needs to. But Remy going for the switch out here brings in Conkeldurr in place of that Whimsicott. So is gonna take out Fake Out in place of that Whimsicott. So Conkeldurr is like fine. It's gonna take super effective damage. Does get the knockout on Duraludon, and that's I think about game here for Remy. That Conkeldurr and Whimsicott are good Pokemon. I don't know if they'll be able to do enough damage to stop both stop both Togekiss and Scrafty, especially because Togekiss is at full health still, has Dazzling Gleam, and is going to be the fastest thing on the field right now. Like, there's not much I think that Remy can do to stop it. So the critical hit on Togekiss earlier was a little bit unfortunate. It meant that Pokemon couldn't be around for a little bit longer to deal with Follow Me's, to use Follow Me to like draw away the attacks from Duraludon. Scrafty getting switched out, going to try to come back in later in case it needs to for that Conkeldurr, as Mudsdale is going to hit the field here. Hasn't been charmed yet, so it's still at full attack. Has no defense boost from Stamina. Whimsicott trying its best to help out. Will set up Tailwind on this turn, but Togekiss going for the Dazzling Gleam is going to connect with both Pokemon. Picks up the knockout on Conkeldurr, leaving Togekiss to be the only leaving Whimsicott to be the only Pokemon on Remy's side of the field to do any sort of damage. And at this point, that Whimsicott isn't going to be able to do much at all. It's at less than half health now. Sure, it can be fast, but its damage output is just not there. We'll go for the Moonblast just to kind of see maybe how much it'll do against that Togekiss, and not enough here, as Flamethrower from Togekiss is revealed, and it's going to pick up here the knockout on Whimsicott, giving Game 3 and the round to Arnie. So I am actually going to go get a drink of water really fast, guys, because I had a very small break in between these past 2 rounds. So don't go anywhere. Join us for round 5 in just a little bit, and I won't see you then, but you'll hear me then. Bye, guys.